Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. What is today? Wednesday? So happy Wednesday. We have on this program, we've been talking about, for weeks now, about flock cameras and what I believe is a rapidly expanding surveillance system being built all across this country. I'm not telling you anything groundbreaking. You know this. But now something interesting is happening, a great flock camera rebellion right here in the state of Arkansas. At least that's what I'm calling it. The pushback is growing. In just the last few weeks, 3 Arkansas cities have decided to suspend or discontinue their use of flock cameras. The town of Pea Ridge went first in July. Then Cabot, Arkansas, announced it was suspending its use of the cameras. And now Mayflower has joined them. Mayflower's interim police chief didn't mince words either. She called these cameras, quote, intrusive in nature, end quote, and said her department would not participate in tactics that compromise the liberties of law-abiding citizens. And that's really the heart of the debate, isn't it? Nobody is arguing that police shouldn't investigate criminals. Nobody is arguing that technology can't help solve crimes. The question is, how much surveillance of innocent Americans are we willing to accept in the name of catching the guilty? Because these cameras aren't only scanning the license plates of suspected criminals, they're scanning yours, scanning mine, they're scanning everybody's. And one Arkansas mayor has been particularly outspoken about that. Local ABC affiliate KATV went to Fairfield Bay, Arkansas, and the mayor of that town and friend of this program, Seth Connell, and asked him a pretty simple question. Does Fairfield Bay have flock cameras? Seth's answer, quote, no, we wouldn't be stupid enough to do that, end quote. Pretty amazing. Our friend Seth Connell is standing up for the Fourth Amendment right here in Arkansas. And with that, the Paul Harrell program starts right now with special guest, the mayor of Fairfield Bay. Seth Connell joins us right now.
The Paul Harrell program.
All right, good morning, good Wednesday morning to everybody out there. This is the Paul Harrell program, broadcasting live from the great state of Arkansas. I'm with my co-host, Rob Spencer. Rob, how you doing?
Paul, it's an honor to be in studio, as always. Just really excited to talk about all this stuff. Flock cameras are a huge issue, and fret not, folks. We are also going to spend a considerable amount of time on the primaries last night that were taking a place across the United States here in several states, and some very, very interesting battles there in the Democrat Party, the DSA versus the establishment. Who will win? It's an epic showdown, and I'm here for it. I'm grabbing my popcorn. I'm here for it. I find myself rooting for these DSA candidates, Paul. I do, because I think that, surely that's going to increase.
You think it'll be easier to beat?
Yeah, easier to beat. But, I don't know that logic is sound.
Who knows,
you never
man.
know what crazy-ass liberals will do. And so we'll have to watch this. Looking forward to talking about all the topics of the day. We're glad to be with you. Glad to be with our LFA family as well.
Not in seat number 3, but remotely, digitally, I guess, in seat number 3. We've got Seth Connell, the mayor of Fairfield Bay, with us. Let me pipe the audio in. There we go. Seth, how you doing, sir? Great to have you back on the show.
Can't be better. How are you?
I'm doing good. You look like you are on a nice stroll in the middle of Fairfield Bay, Arkansas, the Arkansas resort town.
It's okay because, when you're mayor, you get to walk around with a selfie stick and just talk to yourself. It's an okay look, I guess. But there's some interesting news going on with flock cameras, and I'm happy I was able to make a splash.
Okay, yeah, I was too. As a matter of fact, let's actually check this out, my friend. So here is the KATV story. I just want to play a little bit of this story up until a point, and then just, I don't know. I wish I could shake your hand because I really appreciate what you said.
So can I give some context before you hit play? So I actually recorded a video several days ago. Going out against these AI surveillance cameras. I went out and said, hey, look, this is a violation of personal liberty. I'm against this. You can't say that you're actually, trying to fight crime and then you're pointing those cameras at me. And I put this video out there, and it blew up. We had 30,000 people that watched that one video. And the next morning, I was contacted by KATV, and they said, Seth, would you be interested in doing a short interview? And I said, absolutely. And so I jumped on, and I was able to talk with them, and that's what happened. So if you want to play that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, your actual video. Yeah, let's start there. Here we go. Let me pipe this in real quick.
Absolutely necessary. But I was driving down the dirt road a couple days ago, and I was a few counties away, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, driving down a dirt road, and I look over, and there's this AI surveillance camera scanning the license plate of my car in the middle of nowhere. And that's when I realized these AI surveillance cameras have gone too far. They're everywhere. If you drive down the road through Arkansas, through any major city, you're probably going to see them. They're the cameras that have the solar panels on top. Those cameras are scanning your license plate and tracking your movements. And they give law enforcement and state officials the ability to track your movements if they want to. And the entire pitch, the sales pitch they give about why they need these cameras is that they say it helps them stop bank robberies and terrorists. So they're going to spy on you and usually use taxpayer money to do it. It's crazy. I never would have believed that this is actually happening, but it is happening. And the good news is that people are now rightfully upset. Some people are even like taking saws and cutting them down. It's like the Boston Tea Party all over again. But the reason this is happening is because voters are rightfully concerned that a surveillance state isn't a good thing. And what's funny is that most of these cameras haven't really led to anything beneficial. It's like our leaders, and I'm doing this because they're not leaders, people in positions of power are pushing for this technology that doesn't even seem to really help us, while putting us in our place and forcing us to be watched as we go about our business. That's a complete violation of privacy. I'm completely against it. But the good news is that people are finally fighting back. You look at Cabot, Arkansas, they're finally taking their cameras down temporarily. And that's because there's been so many people that are taking stands against this. Good. I think that's a good thing. We need people that were willing to stand up to a surveillance state. I mean, it doesn't get any more surveillance state than a camera, and it's pointed at you. They haven't shown that this actually helps solve anything. And it's one of those sad situations where big cities don't need them because they have resources to find alternatives. And small cities really don't need them because they don't have enough crime to warrant having that either. And so that's why I'm coming out. I'm saying I'm completely against this stuff. I don't know why we see people pushing for it. I think it's either foolish. They either know what they're doing, in which case that's wrong, or they don't know what they're doing, in which case that's ignorant. So I'm Seth Connell. I would like to know your opinion. I actually have a poll below. I want to know, what do you think about AI surveillance cameras? Do you think they're a violation of your privacy? Let me know in the comments below.
Very, very well done, my friend. My favorite mayor, Seth Connell.
Yeah,
really good stuff.
Yeah, Seth, and you made a great point there too, that they're supposed to be doing. They're there for the betterment, right? So for better policing, and I think you could think through all of these scenarios like, well, if my daughter was kidnapped, I would be so thankful for flock cameras if we had a description of the vehicle, and because you know that the minutes count. But you're talking about an extremely rare scenario, and also what are we seeing with these flock cameras? We're seeing exactly the opposite of they're helping us. We've had people wrongly identified. We covered this on the show earlier in the week.
They were lucky to be alive. That couple.
They got them out at gunpoint here because they were wrongfully identified as a murder suspect, and then you've also got people just porch thieves and things like that, where this woman was wrongfully accused of taking a package.
Real quick, not to make the feature or the graphics take away from what we're talking about, but before we go back to Seth, we forgot that the title segment of today's show is about our Fourth Amendment, and so this is the segment that we like to call Fourth Amendment Funeral. Yeah, so Fourth Amendment Funeral, that's exactly what we're witnessing right here. Seth, man, again, I want to get you to respond. I mean, your video was excellent. You say that went viral?
So 30,000 people watched that video, and the next morning I get a call from KATV. They want to do an interview to put me on the 6 o'clock hour news. What's interesting is that I had people that were calling me all across Arkansas saying, "Hey, did you realize you're on the news?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm in it." But it was crazy how quickly this got picked up. And what's so sad, and I think this is telling, the fact that I have to be one of the people to say, hey, I'm not for AI surveillance of our citizens. The fact that that was so obvious and low-hanging fruit, and nobody's saying that because they're scared, it just shows people are kind of out of touch when it comes to what residents actually want. This is one of the very few issues I've seen where Republicans, Democrats, and pretty much the media, everyone are against this. KATV couldn't have been nicer when they interviewed me. The media's against this. There's nobody that actually supports this. So why are politicians pushing for it, especially in these small towns? Why is it that these small hole-in-the-wall towns that you've never even think about when you're driving through, they're setting up these cameras on dirt roads? They don't know what they're doing, or they do know what they're doing, in which case they need to be voted out. Yeah. And so the fact that I was able to say that and it got picked up so quickly, wow.
I completely agree. Actually, let's go to the clip here. We're not going to listen to the whole segment, but this was the local ABC affiliate down in Little Rock. This is what it sounded like where they interviewed Seth.
In our studio with more. Chris.
That's right, Chris. In almost as many weeks, 3 Arkansas cities have decided to suspend their contracts with the license plate reader company known as Flock Safety. This afternoon, I caught up with the mayor of Fairfield Bay, Seth Connell, who disagrees with cities promoting these cameras.
Does Fairfield Bay have any Flock cameras?
No, we wouldn't be stupid enough to do that.
No cameras in Fairfield Bay. And now with this statement from Interim Police Chief Brittany
That's
Burke.
great. I mean, that's it.
I love how they that's the only thing they clipped up. They're like, you know what? He talked for a little bit, but it can pretty much be summed up into this. We wouldn't be that stupid,
we wouldn't
folks.
be stupid enough to do that.
Mic drop.
I mean, I know they went back to you as well, and they talked to the other cities that are doing this, but just round of applause,
there
Seth.
You go.
Round of applause.
Well, it's easy to be bold and brave when you realize you got pretty much everybody behind you. And I will even say I've had a lot of politicians countywide and statewide. I had a state senator reach out just saying thank you for doing this because it's the most popular issue of our time. I'm shocked. Again, I'm shocked at how quickly this has spread, but I'm happy that I was able to do it. When we think of efficiency, throughout history, efficiency has almost always been good. Efficient markets. The better you are at something, the more moral you are as a person. But with technology and AI that's only about 2 years old, this is the first time where that efficiency can actually be used against you, and they don't understand how powerful this is. And most of the people, you look at the comments of my video, most of these people are overwhelmingly positive, but the people who are negative, you can tell they just haven't thought about it. They haven't thought it through. And so a lot of these bureaucrats who've been pushing for this technology, they're hoping that these boomers who are over 50 or 60 that don't understand how to turn on their computer will come along and say, well, yeah, we support Flock cameras. But what's interesting is the name Flock cameras. The reason they call them Flock cameras is that you're the sheep. You're the sheep. And I mean, it's there. So, yeah.
That's interesting. And I appreciate you being able to kind of understand the different generational stereotypes, I guess, or the divide. There is a divide, not with everybody, of course, but there does seem to be, like you said, people either know what they're doing, which is wrong, or they don't know. There's some ignorance there, and with that ignorance, I would say is probably, just to be charitable, is maybe a lack of an imagination. But I mean, I grew up on movies. We all grew up with Skynet. We all grew up with Minority Report. We grew up seeing, it's not, and we also use technology a lot more. So it's not difficult for us to understand how this has already gotten totally out of control. But if we don't do anything about it, we're going to be living in a slave state before it's all said and done.
Yeah, and you want to ask yourself this. We talked about this off air yesterday, I believe. I don't know that we covered it on the show, and it just goes perfectly with my latest grunt style shirt. I don't think I've worn this one on the. I'm a little bit obsessed. I'm about to get cut off from the, from the grunt style shirt.
This man just told me before the show started that. Hey, this man just told me before, your wife's probably not listening. He said, "I've got three or four more grunt style shirts are about to come in the mail, and but I'm I haven't told my wife yet, but." I'll probably just get to the mailbox before she does. I was like,
sneak them in
like
there.
A drug addict.
I know. Like, some people have drugs. I've got grunt style shirts. But anyway, going off of my Second Amendment here. And we're talking about the trampling of rights. We've already seen it with the First Amendment and the free speech. Paul and I were talking about. We just covered something and we posted on TikTok, and it was shut down.
Yeah. We had a video removed because we were talking about the news about the 82% miscarriage rates with the vaccine. And TikTok, of course,
gets rid of it,
which is now anyway. It
just blows our mind. Yes, and so that one, there goes your First Amendment. Second Amendment, they're putting these flock cameras, Seth, they are putting them in front of gun ranges.
Yeah.
Okay, who goes to a gun range? Listen to yourself. Who goes to a gun range? Law-abiding citizens who go safely to a gun range to fire their firearms and in a controlled environment. That's who's going to this, but you want to be able to track them because you want to know who's got the guns.
Yeah, you want to know.
You want to know who's got these ones that have the legal ability to have it. You want to know who has these. So boom, there goes the Second Amendment, and we're going to destroy the Fourth Amendment to get rid of your Second Amendment. Folks, we've got to wake up. Mm-hmm. We've got to make sure that we don't allow these things just because of the convenience of a life here, like, oh, this is convenient for our lives, that we allow all of this stuff to completely trample our individual civil liberties.
I completely agree.
So, human trafficking, okay? So the number one complaint that I received from people who actually supported these AI surveillance cameras, they said, well, this helps us track human traffickers and track down human traffickers. Look, I'm old enough to remember that Jeffrey Epstein's clients still haven't been arrested, and we pretty much know who they are. So do you think that they're going to be able to spy on you, and that's going to make human trafficking less? Come on, give me a break.
That's a great point. That's the elephant in the room.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's what they're going to say. We need to take away your freedoms. Because we can save kids, right? And I'm obviously all for saving kids and all for stopping human trafficking, but I don't want you to take my rights away to do it. Well, that's insane.
Right.
And it kind of comes out of this forced virtue signaling altruism. It's like this. The natural result of that is, oh, you need to give your rights up, so for the greater good. Like, no, thank you. I'm sorry. No, I don't trust the government. We all lived through COVID. I don't. By the way, if they had this technology with COVID, we would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, this is a topic that's not going away. So bravo to Seth for talking about this big. It's really the elephant in the room right now because every day I open my news feed and I am seeing some other story about flock cameras, whether it was this police precinct that installed them, but we're seeing just an uprising from the citizens. I know that we've got a clip pulled here from a guy that was speaking in front of a city council. I mean, I think the message is getting out there, and we just need more mayors like Seth who are just going to refuse to say, "Hey, we're not going to do this, folks."
Seth, I know you got a meeting at 8:30, but just stick around with us for just a tad bit longer, if you don't mind, because I want to get your reaction to this, this is from a town hall meeting. I'm not really sure exactly where it is.
I've already seen it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Good.
It may be Pensacola, but here's a concerned citizen that I really just
epic. Everybody need to listen to this. This is epic.
Yeah, because the cops would have a problem if this were a reality. Listen to this.
This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to call for more flock cameras. That's right. I want more. I want them in the commissioner's offices. I want them in front of commissioners' houses. I want them in front of the sheriff's house. I want them in the sheriff's office. Anytime the sheriff or commissioner leaves their house, a drone should launch from the camera and follow the all around. This drone will stream that data to the public in real time. Don't worry though, they are just license plate readers. It's just taking pictures, no big deal. I'm totally not lying to you. Chip said he wants as many as he can get. Well, let's start here. Don't forget to spring extra for the digital ID scrapers on them so we can track your unique Bluetooth identification numbers in real time as you move. These things even get the microchip in your dog. It is definitely not a slippery slope of constitutional liberty. The bought-off shill of a judge said so because they are on public land. I always thought public land belongs to the public, but I guess we can just put whatever out there regardless if 70% of the voters don't want it. We should keep going though. A judge hasn't stopped us yet. Let's also live stream y'all's email boxes to the public 24/7. Every government phone should have a digital clone online that every taxpayer can go and view your text messages, listen to your phone conversations, view your call history, app data, and voicemails on that device. All this data will only be stored for no more than 30 days, though. You have my word on that. I've been totally honest to this point. That'll make it acceptable, though, right? You can get all this for the low price of a few $100,000 a year. We're already about to flush $200 million down the crapper on a basin or boondoggle while talking about making cuts to the animal shelter. So why not spring some extra money, not on government surveillance, but surveillance on the government?
Boom.
Yeah. It goes on. I mean, it's really good, but
it's so good.
It just kind of dawned on me. The government's doing all of this, but it won't be long before AI gets so powerful that people are just saying, "Why don't we just let AI run the government, and then we don't even need to pay the police chief anymore?"
Three things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Three things. Okay, so I have to jump in here. So if you look at the fact that judges support this now, some of the worst atrocities in American history were actually legal at the time. And so we might need judges to just say, actually, no, this isn't okay. This is a violation of the Constitution. I don't think that you can make an accurate defense for that. Even if it's legal, doesn't mean you should do it. So secondly, one of the things that he brought up there is this is taking away from budgets that go into other city things. I heard that Conway, Arkansas, used civil asset forfeiture funds to pay for these cameras. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know how you get any more scared. I mean, with civil asset forfeiture, that's where they take
they just steal your money.
They just take your money. So, and three, I don't know how you can defend this AI technology with transparency with governments, because this is going to put law enforcement out of work. I don't know how police could support this, because if this does work as intended, a lot of police officers are going to be without a job. Okay?
Wow.
So
Yeah,
and
didn't think
they
about
don't
that.
see that. They don't understand. So those are the three big points.
No, that's
Yeah.
a really, really good
It
point.
is, and it's really going to. I mean, right now when you see this, this DSA, and Seth, I know you got to stay out of politics per se, but with the rise of these democratic socialists, especially the ones that are from the extreme communist wing, that part of their agenda is to get rid of police officers, to get rid of prisons, and you want to say, hey, well, if you're giving them technology that gives them an avenue to get rid of police officers, or at least to drastically reduce them, they're going to be jumping, and there's going to be millions and millions and millions of dollars in ad campaigns supporting these flock cameras.
Well, hey, Seth, I really appreciate. Go ahead, Seth.
No, I was just going to say, there's no more obedient soldier than AI, and that's why they want this technology. And when I realized early on that, again, law enforcement would potentially be affected by this technology, it's not good. And I don't think anyone has thought this through, because most of the self-described experts, I mean, this technology's only existed for 2 years. They're not experts of anything. They're just guessing like most of us are.
That's a great point about the soldier, and basically the soulless aspect, the lack of morality from the AI. It's going to do, whatever it's programmed to do. Seth, while I have you, and while you're in the beautiful resort town of Fairfield Bay, I just want to give you a chance to plug your city, because I've been there. I know it's beautiful. It's on a beautiful Greer's Ferry Lake, and it's almost like a time capsule as well. I mean, it really feels like you guys have been able to preserve a real quality of community. Like, it reminds me of growing up in the 80s and the 90s.
Well, it's the Mayberry of America is Fairfield Bay. And one of the things that we don't have is AI surveillance cameras, because, we wouldn't be stupid enough for that. But that's why we're able to support our culture. We do have a good culture. We have a lot of these people, from yesteryear's generations that are some great mentors. Most of my friends are actually in their 70s and older. And I have a lot of great mentors who help me just really navigate life. And that's one of the pluses of living in a retirement community. But it's not just a retirement community. It's a place where there's ATVs, there's bowling alleys, golf courses, there's bowling alley. You really need to be in Fairfield Bay. If you haven't visited, I would encourage it.
100%, man. All right. I'm proud of you, Seth. You're my favorite mayor, and you got to be one of the youngest mayors in America. I just how old are you? Remind everybody how old you are.
26 years old,
wow.
And I'm feeling older every day because
And I'm wondering if we can get Seth the title, since they've ousted Rudy Giuliani as America's mayor. Hopefully no tragedy to get him to be to America's mayor. Maybe it's just because he's doing what all of us that concerned citizens who are concerned with our liberties are already thinking.
Yeah, amen. All right, Seth, appreciate it, sir. You have a blessed day, okay?
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate you. See you later.
All righty, later, man. Seth Connell, everybody, the mayor of Fairfield Bay, Arkansas. Really do appreciate him being with us.
Yeah, and then somebody right here, the real Mama Faye. The movie, I've talked about this on the show before. The movie I, Robot is about AI getting smarter than us and taking over, folks. That was a glimpse. That was 25 years ago. That movie it was a really good movie. I still enjoy watching it if it comes on, and it's basically this AI that was trusted with everything, that received the keys to the kingdom essentially, and it took over and it infected these robots. And what did they say? What were the robots saying? Please stay inside. This is for your own safety.
Wow.
You remember that?
Yeah.
When the robots turned and they weren't listening to the 3 laws anymore, they said, stay inside. This is for your own safety. What did Ronald Reagan say? The scariest words in the English language are, we're with the government and we're here to help.
It's really, really, really terrifying.
I know. I'm making a joke about it, but it's truly true. I mean, what the hell has the government ever gotten involved in that got better?
Yeah.
People that grew up in the 70s and 80s used to talk about how their phone bill was incredibly low until the government came in and busted up AT&T, called it a monopoly. And now what do you pay for a cell phone bill? My gosh, I've got a few cell phone bills on my plan, and it's $440 a month just for a few cell phones. It's ridiculous, right? We versus what it used to be. You probably had a $20 phone bill back in the 80s.
I agree with you, man. It's out of control. We got to do something to stop it. And the only thing we can do is, talk show hosts / journalists is just continue to talk about it, bring you the news. But it's people like Seth Connell who, he's a mayor, by the way, 26-year-old mayor who's in charge of a retirement community. I find that largely a retirement community. I find that amazing that
he's 26 and he's the mayor of a retirement community.
That they would put their faith in the younger generation, because he's running now unopposed, by the way. So they like him and they like what he's done for the community and the town. And again, no flock cameras, but it does take courage to go out there and stand up for an issue like this when there could be people that disagree. But I mean, this is about right and wrong. Like he said, this is an issue that's uniting the whole country. Anti-data centers, anti-flock cameras. This is an issue that's uniting the whole country, and I think it's what's going to spring up from this is a neo-Amish movement where people are saying, look, technology is good. We like light bulbs and we like certain things. But this stuff is becoming subversive, and it's to the point where it's ruining what it means to be human, and that's where this is all ultimately going. And in that, I think it could be a really good thing, where people realize that we are made in the image of God, and we have a soul, and these machines do not. And we need to use machines and technology. That's great, but those tools can also be used for evil, and it can be used to undermine who we are.
Yeah.
And
Wanda in our comments, she reminded me of a show. Do you remember that show, Person of Interest?
Never saw it.
Okay, so it was essentially, as always, these cop dramas and all of that stuff, but they were using flock cameras in that, and that's an older show.
Really?
Yeah, and so I don't remember the years. I'll have to look it up, but yeah, I think that media, with these movies, and hell, we saw it. What's the whole plot of the Terminator series? That these robots, these AI robots, take over, and so maybe Hollywood is good for something, and that's warning us about the impending doom. But whether we listen,
well, they're telling us. I think there's some of them that are pretty sick and twisted and evil, and they think that if they tell us ahead of time, that's somehow us giving our consent.
Yeah.
Absolving them of any sort of moral conundrums.
1984 is when the first Terminator came out.
All right, so moving on to the primaries last night, Eric Daughtery says this: in a shock upset, socialist Francesca Hong just lost her Wisconsin Democrat primary for governor to David Crowley. Is it Crowley or Crowley? I don't know how he says his name.
Mr. Crowley.
It's probably Crowley. Probably Crowley. And he only won by 0.4 points. Absolutely insane. The Democrat Party is ridiculously divided, and the polls are underestimating voters in more rural parts of Wisconsin. Far-left voters may now become demoralized, believing this election was stolen, as late ballots dropped and flipped her behind Crowley. And that is exactly what happened. It was very, very strange. We've got some clips of that, but this is one of those races where, like you were saying earlier, you were kind of rooting for the more radical candidate because we assume that the more radical candidate is going to be easier to beat. And, you know, you never know if that's true, especially with rigged voting machines and rigged elections. We really, I honestly don't know.
So we were busted out in the comments because we're not pronouncing names correctly. Sorry about that, man.
What is there? What is
I don't know.
Is it Crowley or Crowley?
I don't know. I mean, because we have a Crowley here, Crowley's Ridge.
Right. We live on a very unique piece of topography.
Yes, and it's called Crowley.
Yeah, Crowley's Ridge.
But some people call it Crowley. I don't know, but not here. It's Crowley. So, I don't know. Whatever, dude. We're doing the best we can. We're two dudes from Arkansas, you know?
Man, yeah. Come on now. Give us some...
Francesca Hong.
This is another one. Socialists are furious after human error in Milwaukee. This is where everything stalled. They got a bunch of data sticks, apparently 4 or 5 data sticks that then didn't have any votes on them. Red flags all over the place with this election. Officials went back and then, quote, fixed the data. Listen to this.
Hold up. Wait a minute. So I haven't seen this. So they're saying... So the Democrat socialists are saying that the Democrats have cheated too? They're saying that they've been cheated?
Yes. This is now something that is spreading.
The left is imploding. The left is imploding. Give me my popcorn. I'm here for it.
Listen. All right. Let's listen to this. It's just about a 1-minute clip here.
What we uncovered was that 5 of the sticks had the audit log downloaded and not the results. It's a human error. These things can happen. So basically what we need to do is go back to the operations center and we're going to download out of those 5 machines the results and make sure that's not the audit log. So we have the reports printed from the first download. We're going to reprint and start the process so that we can compare those results. We invite you to come join us. Milwaukee Police Department will come.
We can't see these 4 sticks worth of results that were done correctly.
This was all going on last night as people were trying to figure out if they can call this thing or not.
Listen, Linda, here's what I want. I want the Democratic Socialists of America to know. I am with them. I am with them. Voter fraud is happening. You should join our force and decide that the Save America Act is the only recourse.
There you go. Well, I mean, Democrats support voter ID. According to nationwide polls.
Every single solitary poll that they've done.
So Sundance Last Refuge says, not at all what communist-aligned polling outfits were projecting. What happened? Again, you know, Crowley there winning barely. I mean, look, you don't get much closer than that. And then just to kind of let you guys know, this was another post here. There will be a very long delay to the Milwaukee upload. 5 of the USB sticks were missing. Results from the election officials have to go back to the absentee. Anytime this happens, in this world, you go, oh, it's human error. But anytime this happens, you're just like, okay, what kind of funny business is going on
a pipe
here?
Burst. But listen, a pipe burst
exactly.
in there. We got to put these covers up over the windows. No one can watch us counting. Let's send everybody home except for the one dude that's going to pull boxes.
So this is the clip that I wanted you to see, Rob. All right, so NBC News, they want to call this. They've been waiting around. It was late in the night, and they're trying to call this thing, and this is, I think Christopher Hale's right. This is an extremely awkward 3.5 minutes of live air in NBC News history where the guy is apparently he's listening to his producer in his ear because they really don't know what to do. They don't understand why they can't call this election.
And I want to say this. I know he's on MS Now or he's on NBC.
Yeah.
I like this Kornacki guy. He's kind of quirky and all of that stuff, but I mean, he'll deliver the bad news just the same as he's supposed to. Now, I haven't seen this.
This is kind of cringeworthy. I just want you guys to watch this. This is nuts.
And they planned around this, but
just dead air.
Yeah. I here's the thing. Yeah.
It's almost a Hitchcock pull.
Let's look at it this way. We're kind of indefinitely waiting for them to get their act together here and get the sticks and bring them back and go on. And we've got folks here who are working real late, and I don't think we want to, keep them here to, this could go 90 minutes. It's 90 minutes of me saying, now, have you heard of any other athletes running for Congress? It's such a, it's like I know we've come so far here. It's been 4 hours since polls closed. It's been an unbelievably interesting and intense.
Dude, I can't take any more of this. It's so awkward.
I know.
And it really is coming down to this one giant, update in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee.
We waited 90 minutes for them. They did this whole procession, and then they find out there's nothing on the sticks. And yeah, so it's just my way of saying, I'm just trying to say the audience here, so I'm not abruptly ending on them, just why we're doing this, because the audience has been with us for 4 or 6 hours in some cases for this moment that didn't happen, and so folks, I think we are gonna wrap it here.
Dude,
for the reasons we're
end it. I can't take it anymore.
It goes on for another full minute.
Oh
over a minute of that. So we got the Democrats. I don't know if you're like a big Democrat socialist, and you were watching this last night.
Yeah,
you were pulling your hair out, and you were assuming that they were Bernie Sandering, what they did to Bernie in the Democrat primary with Hillary. That's what you were. That's what was going through a Democrat's mind last night.
The awkwardness of that reminds me of two things. Number one, American Idol, when they've got a really crappy singer who thinks they're good.
Yeah,
and they're singing. I can't stand it. I got so much cringe watching these American Idol things. But also, this has been a while, but there used to be these guys that would go around door to door and they would sell security systems for your house. And it's obvious that their training is no matter what, no matter how many times a person says no, until they literally kick you out of their house, kick you off their doorstep, you keep trying to sell it, okay? Because it was the most awkward moment of my life. And I'm like, I remember asking this kid, I mean, he's a kid, and I was just like, are you hearing me? I'm speaking words. I am not interested. Please go. And I was like, I don't want to be just a complete jerk, and I eventually just closed the door on him. But it was so awkward for me. I'm like, this guy is literally talking and not listening to the words that I'm saying. And so that kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Like, he's listening to these people, and it's just like, hey, what? Here. Dude, it was awkward. That was network television there, and we saw this basically murder right there on the scene because he couldn't get going. So anyway, yeah, I mean, that's not good coverage. I've not seen that before.
I know,
with him.
man. It was crazy. So kind of wrapping this primary coverage here, Chuck Schumer, this is from J.D. Rucker. He writes, Chuck Schumer panics after another primary humiliation by Belinda Johnson.
Can you tell me who is that? The person in the middle looks like a man. Is that a man?
I don't think so.
That's a man, baby.
I don't know. You never know. Don't go down the transvestigation rabbit hole. But we could go down that old transvestigation rabbit hole if you want to.
No, I can't handle it.
All right.
Okay.
The progressive wing of the Democrat Party just seized another U.S. Senate nomination. This time, the winner openly declared she will not support Chuck Schumer as Senate leader if she reaches Capitol Hill. Meanwhile, a longtime Democrat congressman fell to a radical upstart, marking the 7th loss for an incumbent this season.
Yeah.
And even in the one big loss for the DSA on election night, they actually won by shedding the candidate with so much baggage that even AOC and Bernie Sanders refused to back her, talking about Francesca Hong. He says, buckle up, the Schumer-Pelosi era of Democrat politics is crashing hard into reality. Minnesota Senate progressive victory leaves Schumer exposed. In Minnesota, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan crushed moderate Representative Angie Craig by nearly 20 points to claim the Democratic nomination for the open Senate seat. Flanagan, a progressive fighter backed by Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, now heads into the general election against Republican Michelle Tafoya. Craig had the money and the establishment machine behind her. Schumer's fingerprints were on her campaign, yet Minnesota Democrats chose the left. Flanagan has made her position crystal clear. We need a progressive champion to lead Senate Democrats, and that's not Chuck Schumer. This is the second major Senate primary hit for Schumer in a week. Last Tuesday, progressive Abdul El Sayed narrowly defeated Schumer-backed Representative Haley Stevens in Michigan. The pattern is no longer deniable. The party's left flank is not asking for a seat at the table. They are taking the table. Fox News called it another blow to the Senate minority leader. The New York Post noted Flanagan ran on the same progressive priorities as El Sayed, including Medicare for all and cutting off U.S. support for Israel. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Jesus says it plainly in Matthew 12. The Democrat Party is living it out in real time. Then you go to Connecticut's 1st District. Former Hartford Mayor Luke Braunen defeated 14-term Representative John Larson by double digits. Larson, 78, had been in Congress since the 1990s. Braunen, 47, is a retired naval intelligence officer, and he ran on generational change and won the state party endorsement. Larson becomes the 7th House Democrat incumbent knocked out of this primary season. The list already includes Al Green in Texas, Diana DeGette in Colorado, Adriano Espaillat in New York, and Sri Thandahar, which we did not spend near enough time on him losing last week, the guy who can't even speak English.
Yeah.
Older establishment faces are being cleared out one after another. Then you go to Wisconsin. The DSA loss that still counts as a win. He says, or the author here says, she writes, the one race the establishment could claim was Wisconsin's Democrat gubernatorial primary. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley narrowly edged out DSA member and state rep Francesca Hong. Crowley had the backing of retired Governor Tony Evers. Hong had the socialist label and a trail of toxic posts. I mean, Hong actually went and said that she had to lie. I think she lied to her son. They were at a Culver's restaurant. She lied to her son about why they needed to leave because she was triggered by all of the old white people in the restaurant.
Unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You're wanting to represent an entire state, and you're triggered by old white people? I'm pretty dang sure there's some white people that live in Wisconsin. Quite a few,
quite a few. There's a lot of good bucks up there.
Well, there's a lot of cornfields. I mean, you're telling about
a lot of big deer up there.
Oh yeah, okay. So have you been over? You ever
no,
been there?
No, I am now in the YouTube algorithm. They have me, and I am watching hunting videos right now like crazy because it's about to be that time, folks.
So here's what I also want to point out. You've got all of these long-term incumbent Democrats, especially in the House here, that are losing their seats, okay? Because I'm seeing a lot of projection, especially if we have good turnout, but we've got several months here, so who knows what's going to happen in November. But I'm seeing several projections that really make it hard for the Democrats to take the Senate. And I also wonder if that's why John Thune's doing what he's doing, partially because he knows that he's not going to be knocked off. But here's the thing. In the House, I don't know if Hakeem Jeffries is going to be reelected. In this case, it would be Speaker of the House if they won the majority in the House. And let's just say that they win the majority, and now you have all of these DSA candidates that are in there. because they're winning in heavy blue districts. So they're guaranteed when they're winning these primaries, they've basically won the general, unless they go and just completely crap the bed. And so all of these people are about to be in Congress in just a matter of months. And if Hakeem Jeffries or some other person is the head, which would be the Speaker of the House, if they're in the majority, if they're the Speaker of the House, they completely set the agenda for the House, folks. We're talking about these DSA candidates that we're laughing at and all of that and rooting for because we feel like it may bring about the destruction of the Democratic Party. They're about to be in power, several of them. All of these, in my opinion, the ones that won these primaries and knocks off all of these incumbents, they're going to the House.
Yeah.
And if their party is in power, you want to talk about them being influential? Yeah. Folks, we need to be prepared for this. We need to be prepared for this, and especially as we continue to get closer to these midterms, we're going to have to churn up. You're going to have to say, hey, you may not like everything that's happened over the last 2 years, but it was sure as hell a lot better than what was happening under Biden, okay? A whole lot better than what was happening under Biden. So, like, why are you going to sit home? Because it's going to be about voter turnout.
Yeah.
And these DSA candidates that we're making fun of may be making fun of us in a few months.
That's a great point, Rob. That's a great point. Things can turn on a dime, and we don't need to underestimate them at all. At all. Folks, now it's time for our newest segment, which we like to call a little segment called Left Turn at Crazy.
Left Turn Ahead. Crazy.
All right, so for this inaugural session called Left Turn at Crazy, we go to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I love that graphic, by the way. I love these graphics that you've come up with. That was my favorite one, Left Turn
like
at Crazy.
That one, yeah. So Left Turn at Crazy. By the way, if you guys have anything you want to submit to be featured on any of our segments, go ahead and, you can always email paulharrellprogram@gmail.com. And you can, send us, hey, this would be a good Fourth Amendment funeral. This would be a good court gestures. This would be a good taxpayer barbecue. I mean, we're obviously gonna find them. But if you got something you want featured, if there's a leftist meltdown, a crazy leftist somewhere, send it and we'll put it in this segment. Left Turn at Crazy.
Just an update here, unless something changes, our 2-hour show on Monday after Sean goes over to Dan Bongino. We're going to be playing straight through on LFA. So right now, obviously, it's being split, and you're seeing our second hour later. But we're going to be playing straight through. Very, very soon, we're going to implement some polls that we're going to start at the beginning of the show and just ask you guys to, maybe open another tab on your computer if you're watching. Excuse me. On your computer, and just answer that poll question, and then we're going to go over the results later in the show.
This is good. I'm glad you talked about this because we've got a website that's going to be coming out soon, and that's where the polls are going to be taking place. And so we're gonna love your feedback.
We have a website right now, of course, but it's getting revamped.
Yes, getting revamped. Yep. That's exactly right. Sorry. All right. Anyway, so here is this is the news. All right. So we were wondering, why in the world is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Why is she injecting herself and and publicly, making videos of her
freezing her eggs,
and
it's
her
one thing to do
rancheros.
It's one thing to do it. Hey, that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
But why are you don't have to post everything on the internet, folks.
Very, very, very strange. So now that she's broken up with her longtime fiance, they have been engaged for
4 years.
4 years.
Now, there were some reports that they had broken things off 18 months ago. I don't know if that's true because this is the first time hearing about it. And, of course, as you can see on your screen there, TMZ is just now reporting this. I believe that reporting came out yesterday.
Split from long-term fiance before frozen egg plan. What a great headline from TMZ. TMZ's killing it in their DC unit is absolutely killing it. He says there's a reason Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez isn't mentioning her fiancé Riley Roberts when she talks about freezing her eggs. TMZ has confirmed they broke up. AOC and Riley actually split roughly 2 years ago and called off their engagement, according to Puck's chief Washington correspondent Leanne Caldwell, who was first to report the couple's demise. Multiple sources on Capitol Hill tell TMZ it felt like ages since the pair were seen together. That's not hyperbole. Riley and AOC were last photographed at 2021's Met Gala. About a year later, in May 2022, the congressman confirmed she and Riley Roberts were engaged. While we've confirmed they're donezo, we can't say for certain when the breakup went down.
Did you see that video that she had posted with her fiance a while back? And this was talking about white privilege. And they were sitting there on the couch, and he was like, he was confessing his white privilege. It was the most emasculating, low testosterone, complete, she's got your balls in her purse moment I have ever seen. It was pathetic. I was like, shave your beard. You are a disgrace to beards, sir.
Yeah, and there's also people saying, look, her path to the White House is now clear because in this culture, in this political climate, as far as the Democrats go, you cannot be married to a white person. The left and the radical Democrats, they don't. That's going to hurt her credibility being married to a white person.
Except that
is what people are saying.
Okay, they're all married to white people. Ketanji Brown Jackson, Supreme Court Justice, married to a white dude. She was engaged to a white dude. Turban-headed, what's-her-face, the Somalian terrorist there. She's married to a white dude now. I mean, she did marry her brother, but she was married to a white dude. Crazy-ass Sanji, her name escapes me, but she's the stupid woman. Rashida Tlaib, I believe. They're all married to white guys.
Yeah,
telling us that
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
You mentioned Kamala?
Yes. They're telling us that the white man is evil, except that's all they want to sleep with.
I think that's a good point. But what the DSA people are going to start saying is like, yeah, but the white man, that's the one behind the scenes. The husbands, they're really pulling the strings. They're the puppet masters, and they're white, so they're bad. I'm telling you that is a line of thought here. I'm not going out on a limb here. This is very easy.
I believe you.
Easy to see. But it's a bad day for gingers. Okay, it's a bad day for gingers, and people have made note of this. Here's Jesse Kelly. AOC has her eyes on the White House. When your ambition is that high, you're never going to allow yourself to be chained to a ginger. Like, man, that goes hard. That's rough.
Listen,
men out there with red hair, it's a bad day for you, brother.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you this: nothing against ginger folks. I wish I had hair, even if it was red. I'd probably died or something. But I mean,
I'd probably died. I'd probably get all my freckles removed too.
I'd get rid of
nothing against gingers.
I'd be getting a lot of tans, to darken my skin. And I'm just reminded of the South Park episode where Eric Cartman blames the gingers and all of that stuff. Anywho, when you look at, they use the term people of color, person of color all the time on the left, right? Person of color. And they talk about all the diversity and all of that stuff. There is no one whiter than a ginger. It is the whitest of the white. It's as pure as red, white snow, folks. That's what a ginger is. And so when she's talking about people of color and bragging about all of this stuff and saying the white man is evil, she goes and was engaged to the whitest of the white.
Wow.
Come on, man. And I mean, I think, she's become comical at this point, but it's also really, really noteworthy that she's not extreme enough anymore. She's not left enough anymore. She was talking bad about woke 1.0, that whatever the hell that means, and she's, she's in the news. She's posting about these private things such as freezing her eggs. We all know she's running for president in 2028. Somebody said the dream ticket was her and Kamala. The dream ticket for Republicans, if that happens.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? My wife is a woman, by the way. My wife, biological woman, been a woman all of her life, said, I don't think I want a woman president.
Yeah, there's a lot of women that feel that way.
We're too emotional. That's what she said.
Yeah.
And my wife is the sanest woman I've ever been with.
That would be God's judgment on this country.
It.
That's literally what the Bible says, that one of the ways God judges a country is by giving them female rulers. And yet...
Oh, I thought you were...
No, I'm dead serious.
I thought you were like bringing about the
We
apocalypse.
can't quit electing women, even in the Republican Party. We cannot quit electing women.
Yeah. Well, I know we're going to be at the end of the hour, but can you show the Alex Stein thing?
Yeah. So anyway, one more from this guy, Armand. You can tell AOC is serious about running for president because she knows America isn't ready for a ginger in the White House. Man, this is just rough. AOC's out there now doing life after the announcement of the breakup, and now Alex Stein. Now that AOC's official, Alex Stein 99 is like, hey, my time has come, and of course we all remember this story.
Congresswoman AOC is calling out the creepy guy who hassled her on the steps of the Capitol.
You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
The firebrand liberal New York Democrat was heading to work with an aide and her fiancé and dog when she was heckled. She turned to confront the guy, then flashed him a sarcastic peace sign.
Why don't you do a little selfie? I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress.
AOC immediately went on social media and called it a deeply disgusting incident.
See this guy right there? When I was walking up, he said, hey, look at that big ass, look at that big juicy booty.
He didn't say
this
juicy.
Latina, like whatever, you know, all the bunch of
or ass for
racist, sexist stuff.
She pointed out that it happened in front of a Capitol police officer who she says did nothing to help her.
It's really hard and it's really sad.
AOC tweeted that she wanted to deck the guy but needed to catch a vote.
That was a great culture jamming moment.
She did not want to deck that guy. Listen,
what do you think? You think?
Well, I think that there are a couple of noteworthy things there. That was her fiance walking next to her. That's what the reporting was. Mm-hmm. Did you see what he kept doing? Just walking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just goes to show how a beta that man is.
Yep.
Okay, that's number one. But number two, Alex Stein's a decent-looking guy. It's not like he's some creepy guy that drives around in a white van looking for kids and offering them candy. That's not this. He's a decent-looking guy here. You think she didn't love being look at that booty. Woo, it's my favorite Latino booty.
Yeah, I mean, in her follow-up video.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you. I don't think she was really upset about it.
I don't think she
turning
was.
it into content.
No.
She was flattered.
She was absolutely flattered, and she even added a few words that she wished she would have heard, such as juicy ass.
She added words that she wished she would have heard. I love that. That's fantastic. All right, we got to go, folks. I want to remind everybody that the Paul Harrell program is powered by the Healing Veterans Project. Go to healingveteransproject.us. Email me, paul@healingveteransproject.us if you're a business owner, because we want to partner with you and get this hooked up into your point of sale so people can donate. Scan the QR code, though. If you want to donate, set it up monthly, send it up annually. We're trying to help veterans get red light therapy. We'll tell you more about that later. That's all the time that I got for this hour. Hour number 2 commences right now.
The Paul Harrell Program.
For centuries, light has been used to heal. Awaken the body with Red Vive.
Why is Red Vive different? What sets it apart? What sets us apart from the standard red light panels? This is a medical grade device, and what that means is the red light bulbs and the near-infrared bulbs have very specific wavelengths. If you think about the wavelength as the medicine, the 635, the 670, the 810, the 850, those were specifically chosen because those are the most powerful effectors of the cells. So those specific wavelengths, when they get into our body, when they affect our tissue, they spike energy production, they help with nerve pain control, they increase stem cell counts. There's very specific mechanisms that those specific wavelengths work at, and that's the medicine. So if you think of, say, medicine as an Advil or a specific steroid or a blood pressure medication, the wavelength is the medication. The other part of that, whenever you take a medication, is dose. Right? So you have the medication. So if you take 1 milligram of Advil, and the average dose of an Advil is 200 milligrams to 800 milligrams, it's not going to work. That doesn't mean the medicine's bad. It just means you didn't take enough. Right? And so even if you have the right wavelengths, first you have to have the right medicine, and then you have to have the right dose. And to have the right dose, you have, in light therapy, you have to have enough energy. So you have to have a powerful bulb. The LED bulbs, or light-emitting diodes, have a specific wavelength, and that wavelength is the medicine. And the wavelengths that have been studied and published on that are the most powerful in affecting healing and the changes that we want to see with our bodies and our health are the 635 wavelength, the 670, 810 nanometer wavelength, and 850 nanometer wavelength. Those are all going to affect the mitochondria, the cytochrome C oxidase, and affect those powerful long-term changes and affect that downstream pathways. And that's what you get with Red Vibe devices. The highest efficacy, the best wavelengths, concentrated to help your health.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98, Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream Bed Sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you, what a concept, now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
The Paul Harrell Program.
And we're back. Welcome to hour number 2. And we're back. Anyway, we're having a lot of fun this morning. Which, if you're watching this right now on LFA TV, it is now the afternoon. So happy afternoon to you. But we're pressing through with the other platforms we're on. Shout out to Hometown TV. You guys can get us digitally through the air in north central Arkansas. I don't know even how far that signal goes. I mean, depending on your rabbit ears, there's different levels of of those digital antennas, and the technology's gotten really good. But yeah, we had a good time. Want to remind everybody, you were talking. We were talking earlier about what's coming up with our show and the website and everything. So. And trying to launch that.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind everybody that none of that can happen without you guys and you guys watching the show. And we're so stoked, and we're really, really happy with you guys, and we love this audience. We do want to remind you, though, that the program is powered by the Healing Veterans Project. And I just want to remind everybody to scan the QR code, go donate $5, go donate $1, whatever you can do. But more specifically, if you are a business owner or you know of a business owner who's got a retail business, we want to talk to those people. Email me, paul@healingveteransproject.us. That's paul@healingveteransproject.us. We're trying to get red light therapy into the homes of veterans that can't afford it. We have a list. We're ready to do this. We're raising money to do this. The VA won't cover these prescribed panels. They've been prescribed by a doctor. The VA won't cover them. It's a great cause, and we can actually help these people get relief from their nerve pain, their head trauma, their PTSD without using pharmaceuticals. This is a MAHA Veterans Project, and we are trying our best to help these guys. So make sure that you go over there and do that. We would very much appreciate it. All right, now it is time for our next segment, which today is going to be another pandemic paper trail. Yeah, so the fallout from everything that's happened, whether it's Anthony Fauci taking the fifth or the big news yesterday about the 82% miscarriage rate that Anthony Fauci knew about, that Pfizer knew about, talked about it privately, but didn't told everybody to get the shot publicly. The fallout really continues as people try to do kind of I would describe this, Rob, at this point as and many people have already done this because we talked about this yesterday. Much of what we know, many people have already been reporting on. But now to actually hear this from the government, from senators, people waking up, it's very much a post-mortem analysis. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, let's figure out how did the country die? How did this all happen? Which actually resulted in actual human beings dying. So I don't mean to make light of that, but that appears to be what's going on. So in that hindsight, we have old posts, old clips like this where there's a guy on Twitter by the name of That Brian reminding us that Franklin Graham said that Jesus would have promoted the experimental vaccines. He had no business practicing medicine and shaming Christians for refusing these experimental drugs. Thousands of babies are dead. This is kind of wild when you think about it. I mean, Franklin Graham is a respected guy, but he's not the only one. But he was in a position of power. We talked about this yesterday. We referenced clergy. I referenced Tim Keller. He got his vaccine card and was out there, telling everybody he got the shot. How many people got the shot because of what the late Tim Keller told him to do, or said he did?
Yeah.
This was the moment that we have to go back and look at this, even if it's uncomfortable. Here's what Franklin Graham said, March of 2021. The internet is full of articles, theories, data, and opinions concerning the COVID-19 vaccines, both positive and negative. There's a lot there for you to read. I have been asked my opinion about the vaccine by the media and others. I have been asked if Jesus were physically walking on earth now, would he be an advocate for vaccines? My answer was that based on the parable of the Good Samaritan in the Bible, I would have to say yes. I think Jesus Christ would advocate for people using vaccines and medicines to treat suffering and save lives.
And he's using the parable of the Good Samaritan as I'm trying to follow his logic there.
I don't know. The where the guy's been beaten up on the road,
Yeah. And a Samaritan helped him. He didn't give him a vaccine. He didn't.
Also, the whole thing's offensive. Like, if Jesus were walking the earth today, he would just cure.
Oh yeah.
He literally miraculously healed people of their illnesses.
Well, and he raised people from the dead. Like, what are you talking about?
It's like, what does God need with a vaccine?
Yeah.
He doesn't need a vaccine.
And
he's the vaccine. He is the universal vaccine.
Right. And this is a year. This is a year after the pandemic hit. Basically, almost a year to the day after the pandemic really started hitting. Although it was on it was here months before. But regardless, the world stopped turning in March 2020, and this is a full year later, and he's talking about this, and that was because of this, basically 2021, after Joe Biden took office, that's when the pressure campaigns really, really started. You had Kamala Harris leading up to the elections before, while Donald Trump was still in office and leading up to these elections, and he was talking about Operation Warp Speed, how we're getting all of these, we're trying to get this vaccine and everything. And what did Kamala Harris say? Well, if Donald Trump says to take the vaccine, I'm not taking it. That's what she said.
If Donald Trump says to take the vaccine.
Yeah, and I was like, I think,
Sorry.
I think Donald Trump could come out and say, everybody should drink water. It's really good for you. I recommend water. I'm a terrible Trump impression, but anyway, drink water, and you'd have liberals going on water strikes. Seeing how long they could live, which is only a few days, I'm told. But anyway, regardless. This is full mass hysteria, and there's pushback from conservatives, from not even conservatives. There were liberals that were just like, I don't know about this. This is experimental and all that stuff. And Franklin Graham, who is very much a conservative, is trying to say y'all need to knock this off. Full of articles, theories, data, and opinions. Both positive and negative.
You can go back and even find people that were in positions of moderate authority, people that looked up to them in the spiritual, ecclesiastical world, saying, don't believe conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You can even find those articles now. There's just too many conspiracy theories out there, and that you want to try to shame your audience, or people want to try to shame other Christians who are not professional, don't do ministry as a profession, and you guys are looking into too many conspiracy theories. Sure. I'm sorry, that is not true. You need to study the issues. Mm-hmm. You need to dive in. And are there conspiracy theories out there that are incorrect? Of course there are. But at this point, when more and more of us realize that on every single issue, our government over the last 50 years has been actively lying every chance it gets, you can't believe any of that. You have to go look into what the conspiracy theory is. And the phrase conspiracy theory was created by the CIA to make us all look like we're crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But the reality is they lie to us all the time, and they are conspiring for their own interests against the interests of the average American. That is patently obvious at this point.
Yeah, if you've got conspiracy theories, election deniers, all of these terms that you're put to just take a blanket bit of I'm posting some pre-skepticism on everything you're about to say. We've got some comments from election denier such and such.
Yes.
We've got comments here from an interview from a podcast of a known conspiracy theorist. This is all that stuff that happens, and meanwhile, the government is like the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
The wizard, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Yes.
And we're seeing this great and powerful Oz out here that's with the booming voice telling us what we can and can't do. Don't believe your lying eyes. I'm sick of it. The American people are sick of it, and we saw this even from staunch conservatives. There were so much, a groundswell of just
look. I mean, we got to talk about Ben Shapiro if you're going to say that. Who said, "Get the vaccine, you dopes."
Yep, you dopes.
Now, in hindsight, I mean, he's already been criticized for that for years because a lot of people know with their own experience.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a friend of the family's, in the Boomer generation who posted on Facebook, "Man, I'm just so mad at myself, and I wish I would have never gotten that shot.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I'd have never gotten that shot because it's what it's done to me."
Yeah.
And these liberal women get in there like, what? To this day. This was like when he was testifying, when Fauci was testifying. It was a week ago.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't believe in science? I'm so glad that I got the thing and I did this, and I'm actually concerned about all of these people, my grandkids, who are around all of these kids, and their parents are choosing not to vaccinate them. I'm so worried that they're going to get measles and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, once again, are you vaccinated? I thought the vaccine was supposed to keep you from getting sick.
Oh, yeah.
Brother. I mean, it's the same thing. And yet, there's still so many people who do have no idea about Anthony Fauci's text messages. They have no idea about 82% miscarriage rate among pregnant women.
So those people that say that stuff, that are commenting in your family friends post about this, and they're commenting, I'm so glad that I took it. It saved my life and all of this stuff. And I would just ask them, okay, here is a clip, and I would show you. Here is a clip of everybody saying, at least the liberals, certainly, everybody saying here, the vaccine is 100% effective. The vaccine is mostly effective. We talked about this on the show earlier in the week. The vaccine is mostly effective. If you get the vaccine, you're not going to give it to somebody else. You're not going to get the disease, and you can't give it. Rachel Maddow, it stops with every vaccine. We know that. We know. She didn't say this is what the experts are telling us. She's saying we know it. Knowing it is There is no gray area here. This is the truth. If you know something to be true, not that you believe, that you think that it could be, it's because I know it. And the definition, the goalposts kept being moved constantly. And then they said, well, then the vaccine works for a little bit, but you got to get a booster. And then it'd say, well, what about natural immunity? What about exposure here? What's your chances? And everybody's playing these old clips of Fauci saying that that natural immunity is the best immunity because it's long lasting here versus a vaccine that's only going to be short term. But you should go ahead and get the vaccine, and that way you're double protected. No, you're not. No, you're not, and we knew that, and we found out later that that they knew it behind the scenes. And so I would go to this person and I would just say, were the goalposts moved at all?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
From when the vaccine first came out to when they were telling you to get your 5th booster shot.
Wow.
Okay, were they moved at all? And that is the side that you are choosing to trust, the one that kept moving the goalpost, so that they can still say, well, yeah, now they're mostly effective. There's somebody with 5 vaccines, boosters, and all of that stuff that got COVID 5 different times, ended up in the hospital. Stephen A. Smith, he got the shot.
Yep.
Ended up in the hospital 3 hours from death. Okay? We played that on the show last week. Folks, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Here is John Roberts of Fox News reporting on what happened yesterday with the news about the 82% and the mortality rate among pregnant women.
Yeah.
John Roberts, though, at the end of this report, it's a minute clip. At the end of this clip, he confesses what's happened to him since he got the shot.
Breaking right now, Republican Senators Ron Johnson and Rand Paul releasing the first batch of text messages from Dr. Anthony Fauci's government iPhone. In one exchange from January of 2021, Fauci, then CDC Director Rochelle Walensky, and then Surgeon General Vivek Murthy discussed COVID vaccination and pregnant women. Fauci flags a potential concern after the second dose, writing that many people experience, quote, significant cytokine storm and fever, and that this, quote, theoretically could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. Walensky responds, quote, definitely a good point, especially after dose 2. A cytokine storm is essentially when the body releases too many inflammatory signals that could cause high fever, inflammation, and in extreme cases, life-threatening illness. So this is just coming to light now, Sandra, that Fauci had these concerns. And I remember when I got the boosters, I developed pericarditis, then that went away. Then when I had the second booster, it came roaring back again. So, the body reacts differently to these things depending on who you are.
So that's John Roberts saying that he's had a bunch of shots because American Education says Fox News' John Roberts has a pacemaker, and he didn't say that, but he says he's taken 4 COVID shots. He misspells it. He admits to pericarditis after the first booster, which would have been the 3rd shot. Mm-hmm. He then went back for another one after that, and his heart inflammation got worse. This is a level of admitted retardation from his own mouth on national television that I can't even comprehend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but, he was believing the science. He was trusting Fauci, Saint Fauci. He stood up there. He would not lie to us. Why? What is his vested interest in lying? Ignore the fact that his wife serves on the board at Pfizer. Ignore the fact that the government is spending billions and even trillions of dollars on these COVID vaccines and buying them from Pfizer, and they are immune from prosecution. If there are adverse effects from it, we're going to shut those down. We're going to cancel you out. We're going to do all. Ignore all of that. Fauci is a saint. He would not lie to us. Don't believe your lying eyes. Fauci is honest, and we know that absolutely he was not. And his own text prove it. Sickening.
So Jeffrey Tucker, let's see, this is from the Brownstone Institute. This is keeping with our segment Pandemic Paper Trail, because I found this, here's this clip with Jeffrey A. Tucker. It says here, Jeffrey Tucker just revealed that the top FDA and NIH quietly admitted the real reason for the COVID lockdowns. I want you to listen to this.
We all have what we consider to be the most shocking feature of the COVID response. But for me, I still can't get over the fact that I was told by top FDA, NIH officials that a major reason for social distancing, lockdowns, masking, plexiglass, stay-at-home orders, and everything else was to delay the onset of natural immunity, to delay rising seroprevalence levels, to delay endemicity until after the shots were online. Yeah. So it wasn't just that all these tactics, these sort of social engineering tactics, were designed to, keep us well. No, it was exactly the opposite. It was to keep us from gaining a natural capacity to resist the virus, so that they could wait until the injection came along, so the injection could be deployed and experimented upon us, and thereby get all the credit for having solved the issue.
The plot of
that sounds like a wild conspiracy theory, but that's what they meant by flatten the curve. Flatten the curve, Matt. Delay prolong the pain, delay the solution, and it sounds crazy until you hear it from people who were there on the ground, in the agencies, in the companies, watching all this unfold, and multiple sources have confirmed this without a shadow of doubt in their mind that was the real purpose of the school closures, the business shutdowns, the stay-at-home orders, the travel restrictions, everything, to delay the point at which we would have essentially solved the problem through natural exposure and immune upgrades.
Look no further than the Amish community.
Yes.
Who changed nothing, went about living their lives. There were a few cases of COVID. There was an interview I watched, and they just said, "Hey, we all." It's kind of like when you're a kid and you give yourself the the measles, whatever it is, and you are chickenpox.
Yes, you put all the kids together.
Yeah, you put all the kids together. You get them all sick. Get it over with, because it's much more. It's harder as an adult to if you get that, because it's shingles, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. Anywho, that's what it reminds me of. And you think that these top health experts didn't know that a community like the Amish community would build up the natural immunity faster and get us to the end of this thing quicker? Do you think that they didn't know that?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I've never heard this before, that whole, shutdowns, lockdowns, and all that stuff was to delay natural immunity. But hell, it makes sense. It makes sense, because what are you going to do? You're just going to not spread these things? What did you see at the grocery store, Paul? It was the most ridiculous, asinine thing that you've ever seen. You have this plexiglass right here. Okay, you hand them your money through this little hole. Hand them your money. Then they hand you your money down here at the end, where there's no plexiglass, and you're grabbing your bags, all of this stuff, and you're just like, I guess the virus would have been really bad right here.
Yeah, or how about
but here, not so much.
How about the plastic that they use to cover the keypads, the kiosk? It's like, okay, there's plastic over this, but I'm now using the plastic, and the next guy's using the.
It's all the same.
It's all
the same.
What are you doing, man?
What are you doing?
We were so stupid. Generally, as a population, we showed that we are sheep.
Oh yeah,
the flock cameras. We deserve the flock cameras after the way a majority of us behaved during this nonsense, and how we didn't appreciate the freedom that we had.
I could be an 80-year-old with Alzheimer's, God forbid, that I don't remember anything about my life, but I'm never gonna forget the video of an elderly grandpa reaching through with these arms like he's in some sort of biochemical lab, and he's reaching through with these plastic arms and hugging his grandkid. It's
I'm pathetic,
like,
man.
I will never forget that.
What he just said, though, is he has talked to NIH and FDA officials who are literally saying,
yes,
it was a conspiracy. we wanted to give people the shot. Well, now that we know what the shot is, this literally was. I mean, it's this sounds like the plot for V for Vendetta. No, it was that. It was we created the virus to make money on the vaccine, and oh, by the way, I think in V for Vendetta the vaccine actually worked.
Yeah.
The vaccine actually helped people versus hurt them, and in some cases they died suddenly. Those people should come forth.
Yeah.
Those people should come forth and testify. You should hire private security, come forth and testify, be a whistleblower, so that we can put these people in jail. Because whoever did that needs to be investigated, charged, and given a fair trial, and we should throw the book at them.
Yeah, bring back the guillotine, honestly. But you look at it and you see people like Bill Gates that had came out and was just so, like Bill Gates, you're Microsoft, like you're a tech guy. What do you know about vaccines and the efficacy of this and all this? I'm like, I've read the literature and I've got billions and billions of dollars, so of course you're going to listen to me. But I remember the interview where he said that that the population needs to be thinned out. Now, he didn't say it like that, but he was just saying that, we're getting overpopulated in some area. And then the response to that video was that someone did an analysis, and I believe it was like St. Petersburg, Florida, right? So it's just one city on the entire globe, okay, that you could take all 8 billion people that live on the face of the planet, and because of the square miles of all of that of St. Petersburg, Florida, you could put all 8 billion people standing arm to arm inside of that. That's how large this globe is. We've got some uninhabitable areas, but do you know that, I don't know if people realize this, we have more wilderness here in the United States than they do in Africa? We have more wilderness. When I think of Africa, I think of the jungles and all this stuff, right? But we have more wilderness here in the United States than they do in Africa. We don't need the population thinned out, but some people did. Some people believed that we did. They certainly wanted some control. And what I've been screaming from the mountaintops for 6 years is that it was the largest money grab in history.
Do you hear yourself? You're literally saying that this was part of, obviously the conspiracy was to intentionally kill people because of overpopulation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the Georgia Guidestones said before they were destroyed, by whoever the Satanists are that created these weird the opposite of the 10 Commandments, where they said the population of the earth should be 500 million people, and that's it, 500 million. And so you have these people who have clawed their way up to positions of power where they can't create themselves. All they can do is tear down and steal and take from others, and they're convinced that overpopulation, and for our entire lives, that's what we've been hearing. And the truth of the matter is we are underpopulated as a planet, and you're about to figure that out in the next 20 years as these populations decline. And you know what? I was going through Walmart the other day, and I was like, oh, wow, look, that's a dragon fruit. They got dragon fruit. They got so many of these different types of fruits. Because of population and I don't think the global supply chain is going to, I'm not just saying this, there are people that have studied it and say there's not going to be the workforce to keep this level of globalization up within the next 50 years because the populations are declining all over the world.
Yeah, we've talked about that at great length. And again, it just makes me so frustrated that and we saw with Franklin Graham, even people on the right, but it was really prominent on the people on the left, and we saw that with how red states handled it versus blue states. But when we just mindlessly followed, we were just drones here that just we were the army of the drones that just did whatever our commander in chief told us to do. And if I've heard it best, they just said if that was a population control experiment, we failed miserably. If they were experimenting to see how far they could go with us, some failed worse than others, okay? But we failed miserably. How many of us would have gotten on that train?
Yeah.
We talk about it.
How many of us would have been the guards forcing our neighbors onto the train?
Oh, we saw that too.
Yeah.
The tip line, everything that we've talked about over the last few days. It's just I'll leave it at this and say, if there's not accountability for this, there will never be accountability
for anything.
I have no hope. I don't want to be a black-pilled person here, but give me a reason not to be.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the plot for V for Vendetta, but the truth of the matter is, in that movie, there was a vendetta. There was a reckoning, and there must be, as we said yesterday, there has to be. We are not a country. We will not remain. I don't care who's president. We will not remain a country if there is not accountability of the elites who did this to us.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we have to have elites to punish the elites, and this is the problem.
Absolutely,
this is the problem.
It's the problem, and if you don't have some accountability soon,
the way the system is currently set up, you have to have elites to punish elites. That's the way this is. Because they all have blackmail on each other.
Yeah,
that's our current system. So within the confines of our current system,
because right now the only time that there's accountability for someone in the elites is if they are deemed to be expendable.
Yeah, if they've gone outside their club. Time. Yeah, you go outside the club.
We're sending you out to pasture.
Eric Swalwell, for example, they had blackmail on him years.
They knew for years,
and when they thought there was going to be a chance in the jungle primary that 2 Republicans were going to be left standing and no Democrats,
they had to thin it.
They had to Johnny sweep the legs, Eric Swalwell.
Yep.
And he was done.
And it's unfortunate California in that specific instance had a chance at doing something in the mayoral election in Los Angeles and of course the gubernatorial election there but they're doing what they do. Their song and dance is repeated.
We got a little update while we're on the show.
Okay.
If you missed the first hour of the show, folks, make sure to go back and watch it. But the first hour of the show, we talked about flock cameras, and we interviewed the mayor, friend of ours, Mayor Seth Connell from Fairfield Bay, Arkansas. He made a post on Facebook that went mega viral. Then he got interviewed by the local ABC affiliate out of Little Rock about how flock cameras are terrible and why would we ever do this, and we got to take them down. Since he made that video, the town across the lake, so Fairfield Bay is on Greer's Ferry Lake, and then not too far away, there's a town called Greer's Ferry on Greer's Ferry Lake.
Yeah, and this is just a lake town.
Yeah, it's a lake town, man. I think
people have extra houses there. There are a few permanent residents, of course.
Yeah,
but it's a vacation
place.
Yeah.
Greer's Ferry Police Department posted 2 hours ago, "Good morning, Greer's Ferry. After much consideration, I will be contacting Flock Camera Systems, suspending services, and starting the process of having the cameras removed from the city. This decision was not made lightly. As Chief of Police, I believe the safety of our community must always be balanced with the privacy, trust, and concerns of the citizens we serve. I appreciate everyone who has taken the time to share their thoughts and concerns. Our police department belongs to this community, and your voice matters. We will continue working every day to keep Greer's Ferry safe while maintaining the transparency and accountability our citizens deserve. Thank you, and have a blessed day. Chief David Starbuck, Greer's Ferry Police Department." Wow. Look, that should show you something right there.
Yeah.
Okay? If you are in a position of power, especially local is, I think local, we've got to be hyper-local. We got to focus local.
Yep.
And we got to do the best we can to hold what's going on at the federal level as best we can, but we've got to be involved locally. And Seth Connell, the mayor of Fairfield Bay, is essentially proving what leadership looks like, in my opinion. He makes this post, it goes viral, and now other cities are following suit.
Yeah,
and I think it's directly because of what Seth did.
I completely. It is. There's no thinking there when we talk about thinking versus knowing. I know that it is because Greer's Ferry Police Department is not beholden to Seth Connell, mayor of Fairfield Bay, whatsoever. None whatsoever. But guess what? The media, in this case, did what the media used to do, Paul.
That's a great point.
That they investigated something. Something was posted online. It went super viral. And rather than being what you would call adversarial to the poster, right, that they asked Seth. And Seth, to his credit, said exactly, no, we would never be that stupid. And that's a mayor of a town.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said that in the interview. He was like, the media is on our side here. The corporate media locally, at least for the time being, and this is true, I think, in a lot of rural communities that have NBC, ABC, CBS affiliates, they seem to be reporting on the outrage over data centers and the outrage over flock cameras they seem to be doing a decent job at this, and it may just be because they know, my goodness, this isn't a right or left issue. This is just an American issue. People know I'm an American and I have a right to be left alone and have privacy. This is what America really boils down to.
Well, and I love that the Greers Ferry Police Department has I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Okay, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but I love that the police department, especially coming straight from the chief here, Chief Starbuck.
What a great name. Battlestar Galactica fans out there. You know who you are.
He he comes out, I'm assuming it's a he. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Regardless, the chief comes out.
David, his name's David.
David, okay, so I'm assuming male. And he comes out and he does this. Now, I don't know if there was some conversations behind the scene with the mayor, but when you've got your chief of police saying, we refuse to spy on our citizens.
Amen.
We refuse to do that. That is the kind of mentality that must continue to spread across this great nation. It can't just happen in small towns in Arkansas. It's got to happen everywhere. Or how we started this show in hour one, how we started this show with talking about this, that kind of government overreach and the trampling of our civil liberties, our First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, all of that is going to continue because we're not going to have a hammer that's going to get called out with this stuff like Donald Trump is right now. Again, whether you agree or disagree with everything, politics changed when he entered the scene.
Yeah.
What are we going to be post-Trump? What is that going to be? Are we going to go back into more and more of this, right? Where the government is constantly trampling on our rights, or are we going to see people like Greers Ferry Police Department just saying, you know what? We're not going to do this. Yeah. So the video that we played that was joking, it wasn't really joking. The dude was trying to make a mockery of it, saying, I want flock cameras in the police chief's vehicle. I want all of their calls recorded. You need people to do that in these city councils. It's got to happen on the local level because we cannot trust our national politicians.
I mean, it's really positive. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome. I mean, and we need to look in to see what other states are doing too. I mean, I know this was 3 cities in Arkansas. Now this makes city number 4 that are saying we're done with flock cameras. Now we got to get the big ones.
The big ones, yeah.
You got to get Little Rock.
You got Little Rock.
You got and the Little Rock's will be the big one because they're like
Conway's pretty good size too,
Conway,
and it's just north of Little Rock.
Jonesboro, Fayetteville.
These are college towns.
You're gonna have to do it.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to do it, guys. Get rid of them.
Well, and
they're not worth it. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. What we said first hour, we kind of came to this naturally just by thinking through it. But Seth reminded police officers, you're not going to have a job. That's where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have a job when this is all said and done. And it may take 10, 15, 20 years, but this is a step to where you're not going to have a job. And as much as we talk about, police brutality, or we can see where a cop, obviously when a cop makes a mistake, that's going to get highlighted over the everyday monotonous cops that are doing the right thing all the time.
Yeah.
But you talk about AI getting in control. You talk about these humanoid robots that they're wanting to make and roll out. Folks, it'll be soulless, and I'm sorry, I would much rather have a human being that I can reason with that knows what morality is rather than some soulless machine. So you're entering into all of this at your own peril.
Yeah, I do. I completely agree with you on that. And this needs to continue to swell here in the state of Arkansas, and hopefully it gets in front of the governor, and she looks at this and says, okay, I need to make a statement on this.
Yeah.
And we're going to see which way the winds are going to blow after that. Is she going to leave it up to individual police departments, or is she going to contemplate some sort of statewide ban on these things? That would be epic. Mm-hmm. You're going to have police departments that adhere to it, some that are going to fight against it. But if it's coming from the top, at least on the state level, if it's coming from the top, it's going to be harder to argue with.
So now, like we have like a kind of a complicated issue here if you think about it, because our next story is about the crime in that you see this all the time in fast food restaurants. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's, where you have a situation where it's mostly predominantly black teenagers that have these epic meltdowns and brawls in these restaurants. Okay, now how did we get here? And you compare that with the technology, Actually, this is actually a great time for a new segment that I haven't even told you about, Rob.
All right.
Let me
I
see.
love
Do I
these
have
new
it? Do I have it? Yeah. Now it's time for our new segment, Render the Fat. Low and slow, think and understand. So for
Come on, Paul with his barbecue references here.
Looks good.
Look at that. That's good.
That's a good brisket, man. So yeah, how do we balance this? Because I'm about to show you this clip here. Let me go ahead and throw it up here right now. Hang on, no, that's not the right one. Here it is. This is Lauren Chin writes, seriously, what is the argument against throwing all these people in prison? James Fishback, who's running for governor, I think the primaries today against Donaldson. Anyway, he posted this. As governor, I will throw the book at anyone who acts like this in public. And this is... All right, this happens all the time, whether it's a Waffle House or whatever.
Yeah. I don't understand. Are they just trying to destroy the kiosks, or are they fighting?
I feel like they're fighting.
All righty.
I feel like they're fighting. And so you're going to say, well, AI policing would certainly help this. Well, not if you don't, first of all, not if you don't actually put them in jail. Not if you don't actually put them in jail. So actually, that's why I think that there's a difference here. We have the technology to enslave ourselves. If we had the will, you could use that technology to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen, or when it does happen, these people go to jail for a long time. But we live in a society where they say, no, we can't do that because diversity is our strength. When, diversity is clearly not our strength.
No. Well, I mean, okay, so let's just go with that. Like, let's take race out of it. Let's take religion. Let's take all of that stuff. What about should we have diversity of law-abiding citizens coexisting with lawbreakers? Okay, is that? Oh well, we got to have all different perspectives. Diversity is our strength. No. The unity that you would feel living around neighbors who are law-abiding citizens who are watching your house, and they're the kind of people that are going to, if you're on vacation, going to take in your mail and make sure that there's no funny business happening. All around that kind of community versus this, where they start getting ramped up, getting in this argument, getting in this fight, then it turns into a brawl, and then this dude just out of nowhere is up on, you can't see him here, but he's up on the booth filming, just totally animaling out here, just acting like an uncaged animal. And, it's all because everybody's hyped up and the emotions and all of that stuff, and it just gets out of hand.
Asian guy running
This
away.
Asian was like, what the hell, man? Oh, no, that was a Mexican. That was almost like Hispanic. It was terrible.
Donald Trump, don't trust China. Do you remember that guy? You remember that guy in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
The Chinese guy in
He
Hong
was
Kong?
great.
Donald Trump, don't trust China.
These Africans are crazy. And he's taking off and he's running, hey, dude, I'd rather live next to a Chinese national than to live with a bunch of hooligans, around them. And you say that's racist, but I'm pretty sure Chinese is a race, and I ain't racist against them.
Stuff like this keeps real estate prices high. I mean, it's just what it is.
Or the opposite if it's in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Or keeps real estate prices low.
Yes.
But I'm saying people pay to mitigate the risk of something like this happening in their neighborhoods or in their communities. People pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah, well, why are homes way more expensive on the north side of Chicago versus the south side of Chicago?
Exactly.
Pretty obvious why.
So, I mean, I guess this is the point is we need old-fashioned policing, and if I were emperor of the world, I would bring back stocks. Because you say, just put them in prison. Yeah, I think so. But honestly, we need to bring back shame punishments.
Oh yeah.
We need stocks, and we need judges to start sentencing these people to. Okay, you acted out in the McDonald's. You destroyed all of this property. You're going to have to pay it back or whatever. Mm-hmm. But also, instead of going to jail for 30 days, we're going to put you in stocks for 24 hours. And you're going to get a 24-hour punishment where you are publicly in stocks, and you have to see cars going by, you have to see people going by, and they all get to look at you.
Yeah.
They all get to look at you, and this is your punishment.
Yeah, we've seen.
And I believe that something like that would stop a lot of this nonsense real quick.
We've seen some of that with some judges that will, like have an offender. They, hey, I'm going to send you to jail for 6 months, or I am going to, make you stand on a street corner for 3 days straight, wearing a sign that I steal from such and such, whatever. We've seen a little bit of that, but that's not nearly enough, because you've got states like, I believe it was the state of Washington, that are taking mug shots off online, off online,
because diversity is our strength, and they're not getting the diversity.
We
of
can't
mug
show
shots.
you who's committing the crimes.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Although we all know.
Yeah, we all know.
Okay, because statistics don't lie, and actually sometimes they do lie in the sense that you got all of these white people that are arrested that ain't white.
Here's this story to follow up.
This is sickening.
Have you seen this one?
Yeah.
There's a white 56-year-old husband and father by the name of Frederick Litton who was working alongside a black 23-year-old named Devin Rice at a U-Haul facility in West Nashville. You already know how this ends. The two men were reportedly arguing about a soda when Frederick Litton turned and walked away from the verbal dispute, returning to his workstation, and moments later, Devin Rice walked up behind Litton, pulled out a handgun, and emptied it into Litton's back, killing him. Point-blank murder on the job in broad daylight over an argument about a soda that Litton had already walked away from. Just look at the at young Devin's angel face. Who could have possibly predicted that such a sweet boy would have such low impulse control?
He was a valedictorian, Paul.
Yeah, and it's been a week since this black-on-white murder, and as usual, zero national coverage. Numerous local media have covered the story. Zero have published the white victim's photograph. This was him, and this was the dispute.
I want to think. I've seen a lot of the comments, like Officer Brandon Tatum, who is a phenomenal. I love listening to him. He is incredible. If you're not familiar with him, he's a black retired police officer, whatever, and he's just got a huge platform. He'll be on Fox News. He goes all over the place, and he's got a great, successful podcast. And his catchphrase is "Road a clip," right? But he hates this kind of stuff, because what it's doing is, because there's so many law-abiding African Americans out there that are just being completely brought in with these individuals because of the high rates.
I mean, it's the statistics.
It's the statistics.
50% of the crime, 13% of the population. It is what it is.
Yes, and they say that the males are African American men are about 7% of the population.
Over a soda.
Over a soda.
You asked me to leave your tent. I'm not going to leave your tent.
Yeah, we saw
I'm going to
that.
stab you.
Yep.
We're in a fight over a soda. Oh, that's you disrespected me. So now I get to kill you.
Yep.
Let me tell you something. We are choosing to live this way. We don't have to, but we are choosing to essentially be soft on crime. And I know we were, like I said, this is kind of the render the fat segment. Like we've got the flock cameras. We've got this emerging surveillance state, right? But here's the deal. With the way the government goes, because we're white, we'll be the ones under surveillance, and people like this, we know because of diversity, equity, inclusion, will get a pass.
Yes. Yeah, can't have their mugshots up there. We can't be flocking them.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of the police chief that came out of New York City, which the population of New York City is what? I mean, when the suburbs and all of that stuff, it's 20 million people, somewhere around in there. So you've got 20 million people. And it was a sobering, staggering number. And he said, it's something like 92% of all crime. Yeah, that 92% of all crime in the city of New York was being committed by the same 3,500 individuals. That they were being arrested 60, 70 times each.
All you got to do is get 3,500 people off the streets.
He was saying, I talked to one of my officers yesterday, and they arrested the same dude 3 times in the same day, Paul. They would go, they're cashless bail, they get out, they do all of this stuff. And I just said, to your point, Paul, we don't have to live like this. Mm-hmm. Why don't we just say, you know what? 3,500 people, we're going to have a 92% reduction in crime, and we're just putting your ass in jail.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to allow you to live next to us because we're going to protect all of the innocent people. And that's where, especially on the liberal side,
that's actually loving your neighbor, is to have a government that punishes evildoers, wrongdoers, to love the community.
We are called
to make them safe.
We are called to protect the innocent, certainly not the criminal in this case. So I know you got this.
No, I'm not wanting to play it. I mean, it's just it's just a follow up on the shooting. Tennessee man facing charges. It's over a soda.
Dude threw his life away over a soda.
Yeah, over being disrespected.
He killed a husband. He killed a father.
Yeah.
Over a soda.
And he'll be on death. I mean, even if Tennessee gives him the death penalty, he's going to sit on death row. This man. Okay, here's the deal. This man right here should be put to death within 30 days.
Oh, yeah. That would stop this, Paul.
He's got 30 days. We're going to have a trial. We've got multiple witnesses. We know you shot this guy to death. We're going to have a trial. We're going to have a jury. You're going to be found guilty. And then you will be sentenced to death in 30 days' time.
Sure.
That's what's got to happen if we're going to solve this. Swift punishments, especially with cut and dry cases like this. And maybe that would solve this.
You mean to tell me that if somebody knew they were going to die and not live in prison for the next 30 years and appeal and costing the taxpayers getting 3 hots and a cot a day, you're saying that if somebody knew that if I committed a murder that was irrefutable, obviously, dude admitted to it. They asked him, and he said, well, he disrespected me over a soda. He confessed. He literally said it. And so you're telling me, though, that if they're arrested and they know they're going to die in 30 days, if they're convicted, that it will reduce it? You're crazy if you think that it won't, because they don't. They're living in the moment. But if they start seeing some of their
more immediate consequences,
these immediate consequences, bring back public hanging.
Yeah. Hey,
you really want to get with that?
Where's little Larry? Oh, little Larry gone.
Yeah, he gone because he shot somebody in the back of the head. And wait a minute, I just played cards with him a couple of months ago.
Well, yeah,
he did. Yeah, he did. That's exactly. And I don't care whether you're white, you're black, but what your race is. If you get in an argument with somebody, and you go and you what a coward too, because he did it behind his back. He didn't even have the guts to look the man in the eye while he was taking his life over a soda.
And then look at these 2 girls that now
You're
don't have a
racist,
father.
Rob.
Look at these girls. Look at these girls. They don't have their dad now because of a soda. I'm sorry, dude. Like I'm done, and so many people are done. They're just over it.
And, I mean, there's going to be outrage
and
for
you know
a
what,
while.
If we did this segment 10 years ago, there would be people on the right that would be uncomfortable, and they would be like, oh, man, this kind of sounds like you guys are racist, even though
I'm
we're
sick
not
of
racist
it.
at all.
Yeah. Call me a racist.
What I'm saying is now, even if somebody does call, it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares anymore. It's because we're all just exhausted with this, and it's day in and day out. Whether it's Irina Zaruska or something like this, or Austin Metcalf, we're just done. We're wanting somebody to solve the problem, and right now, our system is totally failing us.
Yeah, we used to be afraid to be called a racist, and we were like, well, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about black people because I've got several friends that are black, and I don't want them to think that I'm racist.
Yeah.
And I want to say this: if you can't say something critical, especially when you're talking about that less than 13% of the population commits half of the violent crime here in the United States, if you can't point out that statistic without your black friend realizing that you're not racist against them, you're saying that there is an epidemic, there is a problem in that culture there that keeps permeating, where it's low income African American community that says, we're going to commit, you cannot disrespect me. I used to work for a lady, she's black, she was the boss, and she said, Rob, it's who yells the loudest wins the argument in the black community. Who can fight the best? That's who wins the argument. There are incredible representatives of the black community, but this is what we're seeing, and that's why the news wants to take this off. My gosh, man, give me Brandon Tates. Give me some Byron Donalds. Give me these good Christian black men to come and speak out against this stuff. And they are. And they respectfully that they are. But they're only so much. And we as white people can't be afraid to point it out as well.
Yeah.
And I'll call it out. I don't trust give me a trailer trash person who's on meth. I ain't turning my back on him.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I also don't want to live next to that.
Correct.
Risk.
Correct.
Here's R.N. McIntyre talking with the Steve Deace show. It was an interesting exchange about the young people and how the young people are done with this nonsense as well. Listen to this as we wrap up the show.
If you don't want to see the revolution, then you have to be willing to hear things and see things that perhaps do not jive with, a pat answer that you got in 1989. And that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't mean your son is a bad person. But you have to care about each other. He has to realize you're not the enemy, and you have to realize that he's not the enemy. Because if you guys are the enemy, then you're going to miss the real enemy. And I don't care how many times you stare a young man in the eye and tell him things are fine. When he goes down to the local Walmart and not a single human being speaks English,
yeah,
when he applies for
a job, if you go to Dallas these days, where the Blaze is headquartered or on, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know if you're in Dubai or Mumbai. You don't know. Yeah. You don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. No. You're. When I go to Dallas, it is insane. You couldn't find an English-speaking Uber driver if your life depended on it. And so the idea that look, I again appreciate that we're getting 1 million deportations. That doesn't get us close to 20 million that Biden brought in. Okay, again, that I can recognize the Trump administration is doing better than any administration of my lifetime, and still not sit there and just nod along as if everything is fine. We have to fix these things. We have to take them seriously, and if we don't, it's your children who are going to pay the price, and you have to care about that fact.
Well, and I will say this in defense of the numbers, you can't deport 250,000 people a month at the rate that's the rate that they were coming across the border.
Yeah.
As many as 250,000 people, 250,000 people were crossing the border. We saw the big hordes of people that were crossing the border. We've seen all of that. I think we would have a whole lot more resources to put toward crime for United States citizens, ones that were born here. I think we would have a whole lot more funds to put toward correcting that crime if we weren't spending billions and billions of dollars on illegal immigration. So R.N. McIntyre is correct.
I think what they were also talking about was this disconnect on the right, where younger men are more radical, more conservative than maybe boomers are polling right now. And the reason is because the standard free market conservative stuff from Reagan through the 90s, that we used to fight Obama as being a socialist, no longer are working as solutions.
Yeah.
Because of that, because they're seeing their country basically deteriorate before their eyes. So we don't want and it kind of goes back to this whole thing. It was like, well, we can critique this, but we don't want to be racist.
Sure.
People are like, I'm over with that. I'm exhausted. So
well, my 12-year-old daughter and I were in Hobby Lobby yesterday, just grabbing some stuff, and I can't count how many hijabs I saw. Mm-hmm. There were at least double digits, and I thought that's interesting because we're in Northeast Arkansas.
That's a problem. Yeah. All right, so folks, we really appreciate you being a part of the show. We got to wrap things up. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Thursday. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. Want to remind everybody, the Healing Veterans Project partners with the Paul Harrell Program, powers the Paul Harrell Program. Go to healingveteransproject.us, scan the QR code, email me if you know of a business that wants to partner with us, paul@healingveteransproject.us. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.